Hi everyone, it's me Phil. I'd love to use this video today to show you all the progress that my team and I have made in the first 2 sprints of our capstone project. Our capstone project is a wealth management system that is both web-based and an application for iOS and Android. We were tasked with implementing the following requirements, as you can see on the screen right now. The user has the ability to manage and look at their real estate, investment, and retirement accounts, as well as manage their own personal InvestAlign account settings. And now that I've spoiled the name of my application, I would like to show you the login screen for InvestAlign. InvestAlign is built with the front end in Expo and a back end in Firebase, so we are using 100% JavaScript stack. So as you can see, here's the login page and the create account page. We do have dark mode. So there it is. Let me go back to light mode for 1 second. And let me log in with my personal account. Come on. There it is. As soon as the user logs in, they're greeted with a dashboard that is the summary of all of their funds. And you have this clean UI, profile picture, and a header. It automatically fills in with the user's profile picture and their name. So here are all their subpages: investment accounts, real estate, retirement, and your InvestAlign account. I'd like to show you all now my project board. So my role in this capstone project is I have the privilege of being the project manager. I also have the privilege of being the lead full stack developer. That means is I don't get a lot of sleep, but I'm learning a lot. I've gotten the opportunity to create every issue. I get the opportunity to explain every issue in the tech stack to the team, and I assign them or let them assign themselves in meetings that I lead to these issues so that they can solve it and we can divide and conquer. So I started by creating all these user stories. From there, I created tasks and spikes accordingly, and we are not using Jira for this. We are using GitHub projects just because we are already doing a stack that's entirely new to us. So Eastern Michigan University, at this university, at least, we are a Java-focused school. So a lot of the programming that you do is in Java. There's almost no JavaScript at all, let alone something like React. Because React Native is very different than even just regular React, because regular React uses traditional Markdown elements. React Native has its own set of Markdown elements. This makes it a little more complicated. There's a lot more plugins that go with React Native. I haven't used any .css files, for example, like I would with traditional React. So anyway, I digress. Here is my Sprint 1 task board. So this issue, optimize UI for desktop, I naively thought that you could do something like a media query with React when I first started learning Expo. I now know that that is not possible. We would need to create an entirely new front-end code base. We can reuse a lot of what we did for the back end, but the front end would need to be completely redone in a separate application for web. So that has not gotten done. Animations for header has not gotten done. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. That's okay. We did get all these issues done in our first sprint. It was a very successful first sprint, but it was also a very long first sprint. Our first sprint began, I think, August 28th, and it ended September 14th-ish. So, I mean, we had like, what, 3 weeks? 2-3 weeks? I guess a little longer than average is what I'm trying to say. And our second sprint actually ended today. So, anyway, here's everything we were able to get done. Here's a spike, learning the basics of Expo and React Native. And we did the UI for some of these subpages. Basically, we actually did the UI for all of these subpages. They're all placeholders, granted. And I will go through each of these individually after I'm done showing you all our agile development style. But we implemented a lot of this we got a lot done in our first sprint. I mean, really, it was great. We really just hit the ground running. Basically, the first sprint, to sum it up, everything that is placeholder UI was just done. In the back end, we made it so you can change your name in the database, which I will get to soon, and that you can change your password and you can log out. We also have dark mode for the entire application. And this is what dark mode looks like. My team actually prefers dark mode. I don't. I've always been kind of a light mode guy personally, but hey, each their own. Anywho, let me show you our second sprint task board, and then I will get into the application. So our second sprint went a little slower than our first sprint. This is because Firebase ended up being a lot more complicated than I originally expected, whereas a lot of the people on my team were at least familiar with the Markdown style and format. Nobody seemed to be very familiar with the concept of database. I was the only one in my team that has taken a database class before. I took database principles last semester. This semester I'm in big data analysis. So I kind of had to explain to everybody the basics of ER diagrams, primary keys, really just the basic things so we could get this application up and running with a database. For now, I have done everything in the back end, but that is going to change with this third sprint now that we have done our research into the Plaid API. Aaron so generously gave us a document on his research, actually a whole PowerPoint presentation on his research into the Plaid API. He did a really great job. Justin and Isaac did these 2 pages. That was I believe it was add income. Yeah. In the front end for these pages, add expense. I'll have to unify the styling of these in this next third sprint. I implemented a lot of backend features. So everything is changeable now in this backend, everything on this page, essentially. We had a gray bar issue for a long time on the top of this page slowly appeared. There was like a big beige bar that covered a lot of content. I found out that it was because of safe area view. I was using safe area view in order to account for the margins at the top and bottom, which are necessary on the iPhone because at the bottom you have this home slider, and that can easily get covered by this content, by the navbar content. And at the top you have stuff that can get covered by the camera and then get covered by the status bar that doesn't go away. So to do this, I was using a safe area view with a margin of 60. That's not a good idea. Don't do that. Use a regular view element. Use a margin top. You're set. That's it. Never use safe area view. Ever. I had to refactor practically the entire program. This was my first refactor. If you could consider it a refactor, I consider it a refactor. Nothing changed except for changing all of these safe area view elements to view, and then I had to add padding. It was very not difficult. It was difficult to find out that was the issue, but applying it was just very tedious. Anyway, I would like to show you all the front end of the application now. So as you can see, here is the dashboard. It gives a summary of all the user's finances. The investment page is for asset allocation. All of these are placeholders. None of these grow from the back end yet, but they will. This is what it will look like. Market predictions. We are planning right now, I'm using the Fidelity API to grab information for this page in general for investments. We need to look into that, and Plaid will be for the real estate and retirement aspect of it. Rebalancing accounts. Investment analytics, so it shows your performance over time. We have all these for real estate. A lot of these are like earlier placeholders. Like I said, my team is new to React. So I think they did a great job considering that this is a completely new tech stack for everybody. So lease management, the sprint, this will need to be changed so that you can actually add users to lease. I will show you how you would do that when I go over the back end. And we don't know what we're going to do with tax integration yet. We still need to figure that out. Here, retirement accounts. This will use the Plaid API for the backend, so it will grab from the person's account. It will basically show their balance for their retirement account because you can do that, I believe, with the sandbox version of Plaid. I'm not entirely sure how that will work, but we will figure that out in this next sprint. Retirement savings. And the user account, which I've shown you guys. Give your contact details page, your name, security, you can change your password. I know how I will do this too, probably. Two-factor authentication, I found out you have to pay for. You need to have the paid version of Firebase to be able to use that, so I'm not sure how that will work. We will figure that out. Similarly, notifications. To send push notifications on iOS, you need a $100 Apple developer account. I will have this by the end of the semester, so this might be something that is possible to implement, but for now, we are just leaving it as is. We are not going to touch it. Preferences. This theme display slider is very difficult. I had some progress, right? So I used a theme context implementation. So I basically created a hook. I called it theme context, and I imported theme provider from theme context. And that pulled from a themes.js file. And that would run before the rest of the application. So that way, whenever this got updated, it would go to the themes provider. The theme provider would load before the whole application and would basically reload in this theme dynamically. I had a lot of issues with this. For starters, the themes are really hard to apply dynamically because there's so many different and unique elements throughout this entire application. It is really hard to have one file with every single style that we can just reference like that. So that was really difficult. Number two was compatibility. While my implementation was functional on web, when I tried to load it in iOS and Android, I just got a lot of errors that I was not getting on web, errors that I did not understand, to be completely honest. So I have scrapped it for now. I will hopefully be able to tackle it at the end of development, but I don't know. It is we are at the middle of the semester, so it's kind of up in the air, but that's okay. You can log out as well. This is the front end. I will just briefly now show you all how it looks in dark mode. So this is what it looks like in dark mode. The greens are a little greener. That's about it. I do think it looks really good in dark mode. I really do. I understand why people use dark mode, I think, after using this application in dark mode. It's nice. But personally, I prefer to burn my eyes. So, I'm kind of a light mode user. I feel like Windows is kind of a dark mode thing. Mac is kind of a light mode thing. Anyway, here's all of our dark mode styles. Here's the profile page. I really like how we have the lighter green. Now let me switch out of dark mode. Alright, now I'd like to show you all my progress on the database. So this was actually my first time ever doing any sort of backend work. So last semester, I was the lead front-end developer for a project called Remarket, which was for my database principles class. I built that in HTML, CSS, and some really basic JavaScript, and I used Tailwind CSS as a framework. This was really helpful in creating my personal website, which is built in React and Tailwind. Anyway, here's what we have for the database so far. So we have a collection of users. Our collection of users has these following attributes. So we have account type, we have address, we have avatar path, which is the path to the user's profile picture in storage. Their email, their first name, last name, and phone number. All of these right now are changeable except for email, which I have still not decided whether or not if I want to make that changeable. I probably will. Anyway, here's another account. This is our demo user that we have freely available, and the login page. You can log in. Everything for the demo user is the same, except the name cannot be changed, and nor can the password. So, very secure. Anywho, here is what we have in storage. So as you can see, here's my profile picture. It's my parents' cat, Casper. Cute guy. Here's the demo user page. It's one of the basic image choices you can choose from the Apple iOS simulator. Beautiful picture, I guess. So I just want to show you guys that you can make edits to this database. So if you go to profile, say I'm Phil. So Phil Solis. See, changes in the database. And not only does it change in the database, it changes in real time in the application. This is because I'm using, I talked about theme context earlier. This is called user context. Basically, this runs before the entire application in our app.js. And every update we make goes to the user context that uploads to the database. But in turn, the user context is then loaded before every other asset of the application, so that updates dynamically. That way, because without this user context, what we had to do before was make a change and then close the application and then reopen the application in order to see that change. With user context, we are able to do this dynamically. So we've done that. Let's change my phone number. As you can see, the formatting is done automatically. And it uploads to the database. The phone number is now changed. The email is not changeable, but the address is changed. So 900 Birch Street. As you can see, that changes in the address bar. We can also change the account type from checking to business, and then back to checking. And then finally, I can upload profile pictures. Uploading profile pictures was actually really difficult. Far more difficult than I ever could have imagined. There are a whole lot of errors that happened here. From the image not uploading properly, to it not being stored in Firebase storage, to then I had this issue where every time I would upload an image, so say I changed my profile picture, right? And then I changed my name. It would re-upload the profile picture. Every time I would click save for anything, if I edited my name, if I edited my contact details, it would just re-edit my profile picture along with those other changes. So I had to end up setting the URI of the image to null every time I make a change. That way the program can check. It was a really simple fix. It took me a long time to figure out. So that way the program can properly check if you are uploading a new image or not. Anyway, let me show you in storage. If you go to my user ID, hang on, I refresh, then I go to my user ID, it's the new picture. Look at that, isn't that cool? All right, now for this last part of my demonstration of everything that we have, I would like to change accounts. So let me go to demo@example.com, and password is password. I log in. Okay. This is still an error that we have with the program, where sometimes when you open the program, it doesn't actually log in. It doesn't properly load in your information from the database until you go to account and then profile. Then it will properly load in the information. That's something that I have to fix in this upcoming sprint. Anyway, as you can see, you can change accounts, and it's smooth enough. Yeah, I mean, the profile picture updates, everything updates. And if you go to profile, as you can see, 123 demo lane, the phone number. So here is the demo account. All of the information from the database is displayed properly and neatly in the demo account. So yeah, that's InvestAlign after our first 2 sprints. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.